Ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 West All-Stars. From Phillipsburg, Trey Sides. From Hanover, Carter Bruna. From Wellington, DeAndre Washington. Representing Scott City, Wyatt Hayes. From Pratt, Travis Tice. From Derby, Hunter Igo. From Smith Center, Austin Hobbleman. From Wichita West, Zion Parks Jackson. From Wichita Heights, Cavante Baker. From Chaparral, Jake Burke. From Great Bend, Coy Brock. Representing El Saline, Nick Davenport. From Mays, Caleb Grill. From Chapman, Isaac Jackson. From Valley Center, Larry Wilson. From McPherson, Gabe Hoover. From Riley County, Tristan Culp. From Capeham Mount Carmel, Scott Valentes. Representing Heston, Parker Roth. From Elkhart, Lane Wizenan. From Nickerson, Hunter Jones. From Salina Central, Taylin Peters. From Goddard, Cameron Gonzalez. From Wichita Northwest, Josh Carter. From Dodge City, Evan Darville. From Andale, Ethan Shackelford. Representing Conway Springs, Daniel Becker. From Wichita North, Thomas Kuchera. From Goddard Eisenhower, Stuart Havard. From Plainville, Ryan Junkermeyer. From Smoky Valley, Ethan Wampler. Representing Hayesville Campus, Seth Foley. From southeast of Saline, Dylan Marks. From Derby, Isaac Keener. From Salina South, Isaac Mitchell. And from Manhattan, David Hernandez. Your 2019 West All-Stars. Now let's meet the West coaching staff. Representing 1A, from Elkhart, Chris Hadova. Representing 2A, from Riley County, Steve Wagner. Representing 3A, from Pratt, Jamie Cruz. Representing 4A, from Goddard, Tom Beeson. Representing 5A, from Mays, Gary Gooseman. Representing 6A, from Dodge City, Dave Foster. And the head coach for the 2019 West Squad, from Heston, Tyson Bowerly. Your 2019 West coaching staff. Now let's meet the East Squad, your 2019 East All-Stars. From Pittsburgh, Dylan White. From Olathe North, Damon Sanchez. From Topeka High, Jaquez Barksdale. Representing Galena, J.C. Shelton. From Washburn Rural, Jordan White. From Shawnee Mission South, Jack Roberts. From Lewisburg, Kiefer Tucker. From Humboldt, Dick and Goodner. Representing Labette County, Caleb Henson. From Coffeyville, C.J. Kelly. From Blue Valley Northwest, Jack Hungerford. From Topeka High, Grant Cooney. From Fort Scott, Matt Campbell. From Perry Lecompton, Dalton Kellum. From Lewisburg, Austin Moore. From St. James Academy, Wyatt Grable. From Topeka Seaman, Sam Payne. From Frontenac, Brendan Ishimura. From Nemaha Central, Matt Baumgartner. Representing Mill Valley, Ben Hansen. From Paola, Brendan Olmeyer. From Olpe, Blaine Henricks. From Baser Linwood, Jace Friesen. From Sabetha, Coy Roki. From Burlingame, Keller Snesrud. Representing Hayden Catholic, Daniel Hernandez. From DeSoto, Victor Baruman. From Piper, Cooper Beebe. From Olathe North, Jacob Dice. From Blue Valley Southwest, Kyle Murphy. From Centralia, Derek Van Dorn. From Sabetha, Elliot Strong. From Shawnee Mission West, Dante Smith Posey. And from Blue Valley North, Cameron Burt. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 East All-Stars. Now let's meet the 2019 East coaching staff. Representing 1A from Jackson Heights, Caleb Wick. Representing 2A from Humble, Logan Wyrick. Representing 3A from Galena, Bo Sarwinski. Representing 4A from Lewisburg, Robert Ebenstein. Representing 5A from Olathe West, TJ O'Neill. Representing 6A from Washburn Rural, Steve Bueller. And your head coach for the 2019 East Squad from Topeka High, Walt Alexander. Your 2019 East coaching staff.
We'd also like to have a special thank you for our East and West Camp support staff. I want you to stand up as we recognize you. East Camp Director Jack Call, East Camp Director Tim Williams, West Camp Director Steve Travis, our West Camp Director Kerry Wilkin. Also have our East Camp Certified Athletic Trainer Diuda Sakai, West Camp Certified Athletic Trainer Taylor Rollader, and our East Team Manager Dalton Sporing, and our West Team Manager Jacob Bright. They help keep things running. Let's give them a round of applause. The members of the Kansas Shrine Bowl Board of Directors are volunteers who receive no compensation for their or expenses as for their service on the board of the Kansas Shrine Bowl. They're going to be helping throughout the night. You'll be able to tell them by those gorgeous green jackets. And they'll be helping you get through the food line as well here in just a moment. Representing, stand up, gentlemen, as I recognize you again. Representing Abdallah Shrine in Overland Park, past potentate Tim Williams of Olathe, past potentate, second vice president and treasurer Mike Tavares of Shawnee, and Alan Bayamani of Overland Park. Representing Arab Shrine in Topeka, immediate past president Jack Call of Emporia, Mike Powell of Topeka, and fourth vice president and secretary Donnie Bohannon of Holton. I have 15 of these guys I report to, so hang tight, we got a few more. Representing Isis Shrine in Salina, past potentate Don Boxberger of Russell, third vice president Greg King of Great Bend, and past potentate Ralph Strite of Larned. Representing Mirza Shrine in Pittsburgh, past potentate Stan Jehay of Arcadia, first vice president Steve Amsanger of Independence, and Peter Martin of Yates Center. And representing Midian Shrine in Wichita, Lou Rebelli of Wichita, Drew Couch of Derby, and current Shrine Bowl Board President Richard Steele, also of Wichita. That's our 2019 Kansas Shrine Bowl Board. I also want to make sure if there's any past Shrine Bowl Board presidents or board members, could you stand to be recognized as well if you've ever served on the Kansas Shrine Bowl Board. So here, give them a round of applause as well. We're getting closer to our meal. If you're giving the invocation, I want you to begin to make your way forward as well. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank the community of Dodge City for all they're doing. They're scattered throughout here, I know, tonight. They've been fantastic hosts. For the first time, the game has come to Dodge City, and they've done a tremendous job. This is a beautiful facility, and the staff at United Wireless Arena as well. But to give the official welcome to the city of Dodge City, I'd like to invite to the front Brian Delzite, He is the mayor of Dodge City. So, Mr. Mayor, if you could come and welcome us.
Well, good evening. Welcome to Dodge City, America. We could not be more excited tonight to host this event, the 2019 Shriners Bowl, and all the activities that come along with it. We want to welcome the Shriners, the athletes, the band members, it's my favorite, that's what I was, chair members, and their friends and families to our community. We hope you have felt welcomed and enjoyed your time here so far as we look forward to a great day tomorrow and an exciting football game. As much as the athletes, musicians, and cheer squads represented in this arena tonight have strived to prepare themselves to be here at this point in time, Dodge City has also worked diligently to be able to be selected as a Shrine Bowl host. The City of Dodge City, USD 443, Dodge City Community College, Ford County, and the representatives of the Dodge City Sports Commission have all come together to bring this to fruition, and we're honored to be your host for 2019. It's a great achievement for all of us to be here for this event, but it's also important to remember the core purpose of why you are all here, and that's to support the Shriners Hospital Network. 17 hospitals, 1.4 million children served over 97 years at no cost to their family. And partner, this weekend, all of you get to become a contributing factor to the future success of continuing that awesome adventure that they have done. You bet. And that makes this an extremely noble endeavor and worthy of all of our best efforts. As the Mayor of Dodge City, again, I want to thank all of you for coming. Hope you enjoyed tonight's evening events. And for those of you that decide afterwards to go on and have a little more happiness, I just want to remind you of something. Dodge City, Kansas, I call it Dodge City, America, because I was born and raised here. We were at one time the most rowdiest and lawless community in the world. We have the most famous marshals and sheriffs that tamed it. Here's the thing that you all need to understand. If you decide to go out and have a lot of fun this evening, we have all of their notes. We can tame the rowdiest cowboy that wants to fall off of a horse. It's not a problem. So, anyways, thank you for coming to Dodge City, and I can't wait to see you all tomorrow.
It's a room full of angels. I don't think there'll be any problems with that, for sure. Our invocation this evening will be given by Kent Butts, chaplain of Midian Shrine. Before we hear from Kent, I just want to ask some special thoughts and prayers for a couple of members of our Shrine Bowl staff of the past. Our camp was a little light this week on the east side. Kurt Sudbeck is fighting with some illness, which kept him out of this week's festivities. He's been the certified athletic trainer for many years. He was my East teammate back in 2000 as well, so keep Kurt in your mind as well. Also light-handed or short-handed on our cheer camp, Lisa Ward, who's ran our cheer camp for the last couple of years. Her daughter Brooke is here. She stepped in her stead. Jace Ward, who was a West team manager for 3 years, is fighting a pretty significant illness as well, so I want you to keep them in your mind as we hear tonight's invocation. So, Mr. Butts.
Heavenly Father, Grand Architect of the universe, thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Thank you for your presence with us this evening and for everyone gathered together to honor and celebrate the participants in this year's Shrine Bowl. We thank you for the young men and women participating as players, band members, and cheerleaders, and for the parents, coaches, directors, trainers, and instructors who give so freely of their time and talent for the benefit of the children in Shriners Hospitals. We pray you make many happy memories and lifelong friendships. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the sponsors of this year's football game and their generosity. We pray they know how much they are truly appreciated. Thank you, Father, for the Kansas Shriners that organized this event and for their dedication to our fraternity, for they are an inspiration to us all. We thank you for our great country, its leaders and men and women in uniform. We pray you guide and protect them, keep them always safe. Let us to always remember the children of Shriners Hospitals. We pray for you to watch over them, Heavenly Father, and bestow your healing power upon them. Creator and provider of all things, we ask your blessing upon the food that has been prepared for us. Enrich us in our time around these tables, that through our conversations and sharing, we may become more committed to understanding and supporting one another in words and actions, which are consistent with your laws and the principles of our craft. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
If the board of directors could get to their stations. Thank you for that invocation, Kent. Okay, so we're getting ready to eat. We're going to give you some instructions. If you follow those instructions, you'll eat quickly, and we'll be quicker to get back to our hotel rooms. So we're going to, the front rows or the round tables, the front half of the deal is going to go out this door or this door. European rules, stay to the left on your way going through, and then they will direct you the rest of the way. The back half of the room, the rectangle tables, you'll go through those doors and go through those doors down the middle, okay? And these guys will release you. Enjoy.
Sing if you want. Make it a little jazz, acapella. That's an old iPod. There's a little.
Football music, like Gangnam Style and
Gangnam Style is football music.
You usually have a little DI over here that you can plug
What? Yeah, because they're just getting food. They're just out here doing stuff. I can't
Just think this is our job.
You feel responsible being
I don't know about that, but would it be, you know, if we can figure out how to make it happen. We need to be.
There's plenty of food if you guys want to hit it again. I know you football players are getting used to fourth meal, so you may not get fourth meal tonight, so go get some food. They got plenty. If you can start to make yourself back to your seat, you can continue eating, obviously. Take your time, no rush. We got all night. The folks will be around to help clean your tables. They'll be around to fill up your glasses as well. And we're going to go ahead and continue on with tonight's activities. First, how about that dinner? A special thanks to National Beef, a table of them over here. Thank you very much. It's a pretty cool thing to be on the phone with somebody getting 600 pounds of brisket donated. And then I talked about cheer bows right after that conversation happened, so that's different sides of the spectrum. I like the background music. You kill it at any time. Kind of making me want to go to sleep after that meal. 2019 was another great year for fundraising with the Kansas Shrine Bowl. We're looking forward to making a great contribution, I think, to the hospital this year. Before we go into that, I do want to recognize we're very fortunate to have a representative from Shriners Hospitals for Children in St. Louis. And so Philip Grady, the administrator from Shriners Hospitals for Children, let's give him a. And a newly minted Shriner for Moolah as well there in St. Louis. So thank you for that. As I was saying, a few highlights for our fundraising this year was we raised $35,900 in program sales. Tomorrow, and you'll have a chance to buy our game program for $5. It has features on every player. It's a listing of every player and participant in the game, as well as sponsors who help support these kids and help us bring them and feed them and house them and all the money. So $35,900 is pretty amazing for sales, and so congratulations to anybody, and thank you to anybody who participated in that. Yeah, absolutely. Also, due to the tremendous support from Shrine clubs and units and businesses, for the second year in a row, we were able to get every single player, coach, trainer, manager, anybody in our staff got a $500 sponsorship from our clubs and units and businesses, which raised a total of $48,750 to help us do this game. And several corporate sponsors showed up as well. United Wireless Arena made a great contribution to us. Representative from Kansas Turf, who is one of our newest sponsors. They're going to be a sponsor of our telecast tomorrow. All told, more than $50,000 raised from our corporate sponsors as well. Just tremendous support. We want to recognize some of the individuals who did help raise money. So we've got our awards for our participants who helped raise money as well. So first I want to recognize and come to the front and receive your award as I say your name. But our top band fundraiser this year was Emma Martin. Emma, thank you. Come to the front. And then we give away 3 awards for our football players who get out there and hit the pavement and raise money. And we go from third place to first place. Our third place football fundraiser with raising a total of $1,975, Ryan Junkermeyer. Hey, Richard. Our second place football fundraiser, raising $2,360, Wyatt Hayes. Come on up. And first place football fundraiser, raising $3,570, was Elliott Strong. You guys stay right here, please. Get together and have a photo here. Yeah, get in. Let's hear it again for him. Thank you, gentlemen. Nice job. Nope. And also, we started doing this a year ago, and I'm laying down the gauntlet for all you Fezzes out there. We want to try to get you involved as much as possible. You all do so much for everything you do in your community, but we're putting a little carrot out there, and we started recognizing our top fundraising Shriner as well. And the bar's pretty high for that, so you've got some competition if you want to try to win this award someday. But for the second year in a row, I want to recognize Mr. David Pate from Midian, who raised $19,645. We'll have him come up. Mr. Pate, he's a machine. One more round of applause for all of our fundraisers and everybody who helped. Thank you. On Wednesday and Thursday, our participants were fortunate enough to get to visit with several patients who had been helped by Shriners Hospitals for Children. We had kids from all over the state of Kansas. We had representatives from St. Louis as well. It's unfortunate that not all of you could go through that experience because it was another great experience, an opportunity for our players, our cheerleaders, and our band participants to get in there and hear firsthand accounts of the way Shriners Hospitals for Children have helped them in their lives. Every year we have an honorary family that'll be involved in our coin toss tomorrow, and this year we have the Peterson family and Eli Peterson and his family. Eli is a tremendous young man, and you're going to find out in just a second how much. And they're going to come up and speak and talk about their experience as well, his dad Jake and Eli. I assure you, if our teams bring the same kind of competitive tenacity and energy to the game tomorrow that Eli does when he's competing, we're going to have a heck of a game tomorrow. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Check it out. Did you catch the ball? That's you? Watch this YouTube.
Good swing, buddy. Level swing. Pick one you like.
Right? Nice. Watch this swing, smooth as silk. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage Eli Peterson and his father Jake.
Said I was not going to cry this weekend, but it's been pretty hard. If all you football players and band members and cheerleaders and everybody that's been here, if you're not humbled by this, I don't know what will. This kid's pretty special here. This is Eli. He's 10. Why don't you tell him a little bit about yourself, Eli?
I played baseball, football, and basketball. And I'm 10, and I go to the Blessed Sacrament in Wichita, Kansas.
Where are you going to go to high school?
And I'm going to go to high school at Capen, Mount Carmel.
All right, Scott Valentis, I know you're out there somewhere. I mean, this is just a huge honor. When BJ talked to us about this a while back, you know, I was a little apprehensive, of course. I'm sure a lot of parents understand that you know, you don't want to have your kid singled out or feel like they're singled out. So I asked him, and his only response, as some of you guys have learned this week, he's a huge sports nut, and his only response was, that one kid that's going to Wisconsin, is he going to be there? Well, we got the next best thing. We've got his receiver over there. He had 21 touchdown catches last year. So from Blue Valley, am I correct? All right, so Eli, if you could show him your hands real quick, I just want you guys to see. He was born with congenital hand difference, so basically his middle and index finger on both hands he was born without. He's a heck of a little ball player. When he pitches, as you can see, he throws a little bit of a circle change. If you guys know what that is, do we have any baseball fans in here who know what that is? So he's got some wicked spin on the ball. Most 10-year-olds aren't used to seeing that, so he strikes a lot of kids out. Pretty special. There you go, buddy. You can put your hands down now. I think that kids with differences are very similar to Kansas high school athletes, students, anything like that, because the fact that, and I talked to you football players about this the other day, you feel a little underestimated sometimes because you're not from Texas or Florida where all the kids are getting looked at, and you might play with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, you might have been overlooked, but that's okay. I always tell my kid, and he's got a lot of confidence, fortunately. God has given him a lot of confidence. He's got a great foundation and family. That's my family over there. But not everybody has that confidence. And when BJ asked for Eli to come up here and us to come up here, I thought, if he can inspire somebody just a little bit, that's what I want. Because everybody has that confidence. And I think he's doing that just a little bit. I have a lot of confidence in that he's doing that. I've talked to other people that said they're inspiring him a little. They're being inspired a little bit. But I want you guys to remember, as Kansas high school athletes or band members or whatever, you can't take away where you're from, who you are. You can't take any of that away. And I want you guys to take pride in where you're from, who you are, and work extra hard, and just show them in the classroom, show them on the field, wherever you go, okay, of what you are and how hard, because he does this every day. He's been doubted. He's been doubted a little bit already. He's only 10, but he's had some tryouts in baseball. He's been told that maybe he's not good enough or he's not ready for that level of competition. There are 3 teams in the past year, and I'm proud to say that his baseball team that took 3rd in state last year has beaten all 3 of those teams. Now, when Eli was born, we did not know, my wife and I did not know about his hands. We didn't see it in the sonogram. So my wife had just had, she had surgery and she was a little out when Eli was born, and the nurse held Eli and handed him to me, and she made this comment, "Huh?" And I looked at her funny, and right away I knew something wasn't right. And I looked at him and I saw his hands, and I said, well, his fingers are going to grow, right? And she said, well, no, sir. And you ask that question because you just don't know, and there's a lot of uncertainty. So we didn't know really, what he'd be able to do, if he'd be able to write. But I had no idea, never thought he'd be able to hold a bat like he does. He never throws his bat when he swings. But we didn't know what we were going to do. My wife did some research, and she's in the nursing profession, and she found out about Shriners. We took Eli to Shriners when he was 22 months old, and he took him maybe a couple of years later, but he worked with occupational therapists, and they did little activities like he had a piece of string, and he would take a ball and he would put something to put it on the string to make sure he had use of his hands, and he didn't need surgery. Never one time did Shriners push surgery on us. You guys go to the hospital a lot and you have something going on, and you know that a lot of doctors will push surgery on you. Shriners never did that to us. And I just can't say enough about Shriners. We were complete strangers to them. They didn't know us. I wasn't a Shriner. I don't have any family. But they took care of us like we were their family, and they still do that. And everybody needs to give them a round of applause. And you see one, if you see somebody from Shriners, just shake their hand. They may not affect you personally, but for people like us, I just cannot tell you enough about how much they've done for us. He's also attended Shriners Hand Camp south of St. Louis, and there are kids that have hand differences, and they go to a camp for a few days, and they do some things to work on their confidence, like fishing and archery and things like that. And like I said, I hope, his story inspires everybody just a little bit. He has confidence, not everybody has that, but we wouldn't have that confidence without God, without great family, and just the confidence that Shriners has given us and given him. And I just want to say thank you. I just can't thank you enough.
How about that? That's pretty awesome. Great job, Jake. Great job, Eli. Eli went fishing today. How many fish you catch? Caught 9? Did you say 9? 6 fish. Caught 6 fish today. Went fishing. So it was between this big and this big, depending on what time you ask him. So not only was Eli able to participate in our hospital experience, but we have other hospital experience and hospital patients here with us today. I'd like to recognize them as well, them and their family. First, the family of Kobe Fryer from Pittsburgh made the trip out here. Thank you for coming. Callie Allenbrand and her family are here as well at the banquet. Recognize yourselves. Darwin Boyle and their family are here, and they're going to spend the rest of the weekend with us, so thank you very much, Darwin. Kaylee Shoming. Kaylee's the expert when it comes to hospital experience. She's, I don't know where she's at, but she's basically, we leaned on her pretty much all weekend long because she's been doing it for a long, long time. And then also Kerrigan Rudolph and her family. Kerrigan was the ultimate sandbagger today at the golf tournament, apparently. So she led her team to victory at the golf tournament, and that's no joke. Okay. Before we go with more introductions, you may wonder why we introduce so many people. It's because it takes a lot of people to get something like this done. 1,000 people at this banquet today. We look to have 6,000 at the game tomorrow, hopefully more. And it just takes a ton of support from Shriners all over the state of Kansas. And each Shrine Center is led by what we call a potentate. And so there are 5 Shrine Centers in the state of Kansas. Each one of them has a leader that runs that organization for a year, and they're called potentates. And I want to introduce our potentates that are here with us today. First, from Abdallah Shrine, illustrious Sir Doug Voss and Lady Diana. From the Arab Shrine in Topeka, illustrious Sir Steve Kramer and Lady Peggy. From the Isis Shrine in Salina, illustrious Sir Russ Engel and Lady Connie. From Midian Shrine in Wichita, illustrious Sir Norm Conley and Lady Deb. And from Mirza's Shrine in Pittsburgh, illustrious Sir Mike Carnes and Lady Susan. Together, these potentates preside over more than 6,000 Kansas Shriners. They're assisted in leadership and duties by officers, or as we call them, Devans. At this time, I would like all Devan members and their ladies from the 5 Kansas Shrines to stand up and be recognized as well. We also want to call your attention to the names printed in the banquet. Not the player names on the one roster because it's messed up and that's my fault, but the names of our sponsors that are in there. And if you know those businesses or if you know those individuals, I want you to walk up to them and tell them thank you for sponsoring. We had fantastic support on our banquet sponsorships this year that helps cover the cost of this meal, obviously, so we can continue to make money and make a larger contribution. So please check to that and recognize those people as you can. Now let's hear from some participants. Hallie, if you could start making your way this way. Every Shriner is first a Mason, Imperial Sirs, most worshipful and rightful and worshipfuls, Masons, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce the most worshipful Dale Morrow. He's going to make his way up here. Dale Morrow, the Grand Master of the most worshipful Grand Lodge of ancient, free, and accepted Masons in Kansas. We're proud to call on most worshipful Dale for a few words and a presentation.
Thank you. Good evening. I have the privilege of being the 150th Grand Master of the most worshipful Grand Lodge of ancient, free, and accepted Masons of Kansas. And yes, I know that's a mouthful. Everyone you see here with a red fez on is first a Mason. It is a prerequisite of membership in the Shriner fraternity to be a member of the ancient and Arabic order of the nobles of the Mystic Shrine. And yeah, I know that's another mouthful for one paragraph. The Freemasons, or Masons, as we are commonly known, have been around for a very long time. The first Grand Lodge was officially formed in London in 1717, a little over 300 years ago. But our fraternity is much older than that. In fact, we don't know how old it is. We have lodge minutes from the 1590s in Scotland, but we know it's much older than that. The Masons use some ritualistic lessons to teach good men to become better men, and also to practice charity to all mankind. Those ritualistic lessons I referred to are memorized and recited from memory. In 1870, a few Masons in New York began talking about forming a new order based on fun and fellowship and less on ritual work. And in 1872, the first Shrine Center, Mecca Shriners in New York, was formed. From its early days, the Shrine, along with other Masonic bodies, was involved in using its financial resources to help mankind where it was needed. From yellow fever outbreaks to earthquakes and floods, that charitable part of us has been very much alive. In 1922, just 50 years after it was founded, the Shrine opened the first of its hospitals in Shreveport, Louisiana, and it's never looked back. Several presidents have been Freemasons, and for that matter, Shriners as well. As we paused a few days ago to reflect on the events of D-Day, June 6, 1944, we learned that later that year, Harry Truman, who was made a Mason in 1909, would be elected Vice President of the United States. He was formally sworn in on January 20, 1945. And 82 days later, he would take the oath of office as the 33rd President of the United States following the death of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Harry Truman was a Grand Master of Missouri in 1941, just 4 years before becoming president. He was also a very proud member of Ararat Shrine in Kansas City and served on the divan of that Shrine Center. Or the divan is what most would know as a board of directors. He was very ill-prepared to be president. He once made the statement that he felt that all the stars, the moon, and the planets had come to rest on his shoulders. He had only met President Roosevelt twice before his death on April 12, 1945. I believe that his experience, not only in the military, as a judge and as a Missouri farmer, but his very background as a Mason, a Grand Master, and a Shriner, gave him some of those needed qualities that made him successful in seeing victory in Europe on May 8, 1945, and bringing World War II to an end on September 2nd, 1945. He would receive his 33rd degree as a Scottish Rite Mason in October of that same year. It's kind of odd. 33rd president getting his 33rd degree. This week, your players and band students, cheerleaders, have seen a small taste of what Masonry is and what this Masonic family is all about. As you share in the Shrine Bowl festivals, know that the 22 Shrine hospitals need constant support to fulfill their mission of care for the crippled and burned children of this and other countries. And by your participation this week, know that you're making a difference in someone's life, and on behalf of the 15,000 Masons in Kansas and the 202 Masonic lodges in this state and the 5 Shrine Centers that operate in Kansas, I thank each and every one of you for joining with our Masonic family to make such a huge difference. At this time, I would like to call upon Most Worshipful Rick Reichert, President of the Kansas Masonic Foundation, which is the Kansas Masons charitable arm. He is also a past Grand Master of Kansas.
Most Worshipful Sir, thank you very much. I'd like to, at this time, invite our 5 potentates, illustrious sirs, if you would join me on stage, and also our imperial sirs, if you would join me for this. And while they're on their way up, I just want to mention that, as our Grand Master said, we are very charitable as Masons, and we start small. First, we go brother to brother and help him in his need. It's part of our obligation to each other. And we extend that charity out to our friends and family, and then to our communities, and trying to make a difference where we live and where we work. A little over 50 years ago, we decided we wanted to be able to do something even more impacting to our fellow Kansans, and formed a foundation where we could pool our money and do something really significant. And we have been doing that for over 50 years. And one of the pledges that we made as Kansas Masons was to the Shriner hospitals. And it is my pleasure to present, on behalf of all the Masons in Kansas, to the Shriner Hospital another installment toward our pledge of $500,000. Very good. Looks very nice, sir.
On behalf of Shriners International, Shriners Hospitals for Children, and especially Philip, the Shrine Hospital in St. Louis, where this money goes, we'd like to thank the Kansas Masonic Foundation for your very generous donation. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much to the Kansas Masonic Foundation. The Kansas Masonic Foundation not only making that contribution, but also a contribution to the Kansas Shrine Bowl of a check presentation tomorrow in the order of $15,000 that they're helping us to continue on the Kansas Masonic All-State Marching Band. And so with that, we want to hear the perspective of one of our band members. They're a fun bunch, I can tell you that. Aren't you, band? You hear me back there? You guys awake? Hallie, if you go ahead and make your way up here. Our perspective from the band will be from Hallie Wetstein. She is from Hugoton, correct? And she's going to come up here and tell you about what band camp was all about.
Most worshipful Grand Master, illustrious sirs, imperial sirs, nobles, friends, and family. Emporia, Butler, Pitt, Dodge. That was the order of my Kansas Shrine Bowls. Hello, my name is Hallie Wetstein. I just graduated from Hugoton High School, and this is my 4th year as a member of the Kansas All-State Masonic Marching Band. 4 years ago, me and 2 other members from my high school made the 5-hour trip to Emporia, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. When I signed up to attend Masonic Band, I thought it would be 4 days of playing my instrument, marching, and having fun. While this is what we did, it was much more than just that. We had some early mornings and late nights. I found that water is the most valuable element, and having cold water during practices can be used in bartering for other necessities, like sunscreen and snacks. And I wasn't just there to have a good time. When we met for the first time in the auditorium, Dr. Woodworth called out to us, "Band Tin Hut." And his command was answered with a jumble of words that I was finally able to decipher as "for the kids." We broke off into sections, and I got to meet some of the most extraordinary people. Snatch, Aaron, Jimmy, Tim, and Seven made my first Masonic camp memorable. Over the span of that week, I created friendships, got a pretty nasty sunburn, and learned the hard way that eastern Kansas is much more humid than my home in the Southwest. But the most impactful part was meeting the Shrine patient ambassadors during the hospital experience. Meeting the ambassadors and hearing their stories really made me push harder in practice the next couple of days. Each time I thought I couldn't do it anymore, I remembered the stories the kids told us, and I stood a little straighter, tried a little harder, and gave a little more effort than I had been. Each summer following that, I dedicated a week out to march in the Kansas Masonic Band, or as the cool kids call it, Nerd Camp, for the kids of Shriners Hospitals. I could not think of a better way to spend my summer, and it truly is the highlight every year. Some of my best friends have been made from this camp, and I would not trade it for the world. To the Shriners, thank you for all you do. To my home lodge and Dave Eckert, thank you all so much for working tirelessly to find sponsorships for all the kids who I've convinced to attend the Shrine Bowl. And to the band, thank you for being my family this past 4 years. And with that, if I could have all the band kids please rise. Band kids, cut! Thank you, and go West.
Hallie would like to present a couple of autographed footballs from the band. All the band kids have signed this to Most Worshipful Dale Morrow. If you please come. And Imperial Sir Souter, they would like to present you with an autographed football. Good job, Hallie. Thank you. Certainly one of the most exciting groups that we have in our event. You're going to get to see tomorrow. 125 some strong is our Kansas Shrine All-Star Cheer Squad. Are you guys awake back there? They're with us tonight. Cheer squad and clinic have been tremendous and have been a nice addition to our game over the last few years. It's time to hear from a cheerleader's perspective on the week's events. Please welcome to the stage our cheer representative, Ellie Wiles from Southeast of Saline High School, to give us the cheer perspective.
Good evening, illustrious sirs, nobles, all ladies and gentlemen. First off, I want to say a big thank you to the Shriners and directors who chose me to represent a cheerleader's perspective. I also want to personally thank the Shriners for all their hard work, dedication, and devotion to the kids at the Shriners hospitals. The kids are the sole reason us cheerleaders, band members, football players, and visitors are gathered here this evening. I attended my first Shrine Bowl camp and game when I was 7 years old, and as the youngest of 4 kids, I've watched my brothers and sisters participate in the Shrine Bowl year after year. When I became a freshman in high school, it was finally my turn to be a participant and not just a spectator. I knew in my head that the Shrine Bowl was a football game and that I should go into camp with the goal of becoming a better cheerleader. But I gained so much more. Also, both of my sisters had met an amazing boy, and I just couldn't wait to meet an amazing boy too. So, to be honest with you, when I went to camp, I couldn't wait. After my first few days, I too was lucky enough to meet an amazing boy. But as luck would have it, it was the same boy my sisters had met. And as you could imagine, it caused a lot of drama, but I couldn't help it because I was starstruck. I'd like to address your attention to the above monitor so you can see this boy for yourself. This is Justin, the most high-spirited, outgoing, and I-can-do-it kid that I've ever met. This is a picture up here of my sister, my oldest sister, Kuslin, meeting Justin for the first time. He absolutely stole her heart. And here is another picture of my middle sister, Emily, and he's actually trying to give her bunny ears, if you can't do. I gave this a laugh. And finally, here's a picture of all 3 of us together when I first met him my freshman year. After meeting Justin and many other Shriners kids in the hospital experience, I quickly fell in love with this camp. So what exactly goes on at cheer camp? We attend camp for 4 days. Most days start at 7 a.m. and don't end until 10 p.m. We not only learn more than 20 cheers and chants, but we also work on jumps, tumbling, stunts, and character development. We also have an option to try out for a select team. I know that seems like a lot, but I'm only halfway through. We also have a college combine. I bet many of you are surprised to hear cheerleaders have a college combine, but the cheer world is very competitive, and the Shrine Bowl gives the cheer athletes an opportunity to stand out with the college coaches and secure college scholarships. Of course, it isn't all work. There are a lot of shenanigans that happen, such as conga lines and scavenger hunts with the football players, a live version of Mean Girls the movie, bouncy houses galore, and playing games like sand volleyball, horseshoes, and giant chess with the band kids. However, nothing beats the very best part of this camp, the hospital experience. During this time, we get to meet and interact with several amazing kids who have been Shriners patients. They show us what life is like for them and put everything into perspective for us. I fell in love with interacting with the patients and meeting new friends throughout the camp, whether they were patients, band members, or the East and West football teams. However, I will say that I am biased to making lifelong friends with the band members because I too have a special place in my heart for marching band, being that I've been marching with the same black lacquer, gold keyed, baritone saxophone since the 6th grade. Now don't get me wrong, I love my football boys too. But I can't forget how much I love the amazing men who are Shriners that sacrifice their personal time and money for the kids, as well as their ladies who keep them in order. To more deeply show you what it means to be a cheerleader, I can honestly tell you that I have never attended a camp where there have not been tears shed. Whether they are happy or sad tears, this is because we put our hard work, sweat, and tears into learning cheers, throwing people in the air, and flipping around because it is what we believe is the best way to get a crowd going. So we will yell until our throats are sore, or smile till our faces go numb, throw our flyers so high they get nosebleeds, and we will tumble on that rocky track until our very own hands bleed. But why do we do it? We do it for what we believe in, and we believe in the kids. We believe in the Shriners, and we believe that bringing the best band players, conductors, most passionate cheerleaders, and the very best football players, coaches, together in the state of Kansas is the perfect formula to raise money for sweet and outgoing kids just like Justin who need our help. Thank you, Shriners, for making this experience possible and teaching us all that it is more than just a game. The cheerleaders wish both teams a safe game and the best of luck tomorrow night. Go West. And cheerleaders, please stand and help me out one last time for the kids. Ready? 1, 2, 3 for the kids. 5, high five, down, peace out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ellie. Now we turn our sights to some football. We're going to hear from both head coaches. We're going to hear from 2 player representatives as well. We're going to start on the East squad with Coach Walt Alexander. Coach Alexander will be coaching in his 4th Kansas Shrine Bowl. He's 3-0. He wants you to make sure you know that. Serving as an assistant in 2005, 2015, and last year in 2018. This past season, Coach led Topeka High to a 9-2 record in the 6A quarterfinals. Coach Alexander has been a head coach for 29 seasons and is 79-48 in 13 seasons at Topeka High for the Trojans. Coach Alexander earned his degree in physical education from Kansas State University. Walt and his wife Tamara have 5 children: Blake, Bailey, Bobby Sue, Tyler, and Tanner. Tanner played in the game last year. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hear from Coach after you check out the East Camp.
The team with the most unity is going to win the games, right? Whoever can in 5 days or 6 days can come together with more heart, more courage, more love. Because remember where battles are won, right? In the hearts of men. And if we have more courage and more will to win than the West, and for the right reasons, because all those kids out there at home watching you on statewide TV, all your parents, your grandparents, all the people that have raised you from a little kid are responsible for you being here, and that's who we're playing for, right? Not just the kids. We know we're here to raise money. That's the #1 priority. But you're here because a lot of great people helped you get here. And we're going to play every play with more heart and more will to win in the West.
Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of the 2019, the 46th annual, the 46th head coach of the East squad from Topeka High, Walt Alexander.
Well, the first thing Jack Call told me was, I said, what do you want me to talk about? He said, if you want to do a good speech, make it a short and sweet speech, and everybody will love you for it. So I took that to heart. I think I can say, what I have to say, and it doesn't take very long. But I would just want to start out by saying thank you, first of all, to all the members of the Shrine and their ladies for all the countless hours, hard work, all that fundraising that goes into an event like this. Your love and commitment to the kids in the Shriners Hospitals for Children is so amazing. I know how important that this time of year is to all of you. And so on behalf of everyone involved in the East Side and our camp and our players and coaches, we just want you to know that we're going to do everything in our power to make you proud of us tomorrow night, and our kids are ready to play. We also want to thank, on behalf of the East BJ, he's been the master of ceremonies today, and I know he's only been doing this for 2 years. I tell you, it's a big job of organization and fundraising and communication, and I don't think people in general have an idea what kind of a task and what kind of a special person it takes to do that job. And I think everybody here needs to give BJ a big hand. That's a tough job. Our camp directors, I can't say enough about them. Jack Call, I've worked with 3 times out of the 4 times I've done the Shrine Bowl. Tim, the last 2 years, Tim Williams. Guys, stand up, wave your whatever, your fez or whatever it is. You guys want to wave? I got one too. I'm proud to say I did more. I am a member of the Shrine now, so thank you. Just joined last year, thanks to Jack. But those guys have taken care of our kids. They're always there. Jack time is the most important time. If you're not on Jack Call time, he's not very happy. He's been smiling the whole time. We've been so organized, and it's all due to those guys. And they've got us kids pizzas every night. We're on time. I couldn't be more proud of the way our kids acted, and I think Jack and Tim would tell you the same. Dalton Sporing, and I just like saying his name. Where's Yusuka? I don't even know how to say it. Stand up. He's our manager this year and our team trainer this year that filled in for Kurt. Give those guys a hand. We really appreciate it. I mean, they're busting it every single day out there, 2 times a day. If anybody wants to know what the Shrine Bowl is all about from a coach's perspective, it's gaining 15 or 20 pounds, eating 5 times a day, and practicing 2 times a day. That's what we do. We eat and we play football and we get fat, as from the coach's perspective. I saw that video up there and I thought, oh my God, as soon as I get this knee fixed, I'm going to quit eating. That's it, because I was a fat dude up there. All right. Anyway, every year you coach in the Shrine Bowl. One of the most rewarding experiences is meeting some new coaches that you've never get to meet that have a passion for kids and love for football. And this year's no different. I mean, I've known a couple of them, obviously Steve because he's from Topeka and we play against each other, but these other guys I've met for the first time this year, and I just have to introduce those guys and have them stand up. I can't remember all your wives' names, so I'm just going to say, and their wife. That's not to be rude, I just didn't ask you guys, or girlfriend, significant other, boyfriend, whatever, whoever you stand up with, it's all right. 6A representative is Steve Bueller, and his wife, I do know Shelley Bueller. She's pretty much the next president of the United States, probably. Give him a hand. The 5A, oh, and he's from Washington Monroe, I believe I said that. And from Olathe West, 5A representative is TJ O'Neill. 4A representative is Robert Ebenstein from Lewisburg. And I'm glad I got to meet this dude. Bo Swarinski from Galena, 3A representative. Tony Soprano is what I call him. Where is he? He's here somewhere. There he is. There he is. Good. 2A, and when I asked the coaches who they wanted to run the offense, if anybody, nobody really stood up, but Logan Wyrick's our offensive coordinator this year from Humboldt. He's doing a great job. Give him a hand. And our 1A representative from Jackson Heights is Caleb Wick. Now, I am a member of the Shrine now, and I do know if you don't talk about your lady, you have to give her diamonds or something. So even if I forgot, my wife ain't getting no diamonds because we don't have the money for that. She knows that, but I'm not going to forget her. Tamara, who puts up with me all the time, she's trying to film this. Stand up, Tamara. You can stand up. She won't stand up. I love her. She's put up with a lot. Somebody else I want to thank that's really kept the refreshments going for our coaching staff this week, and he has every year, and he's probably one of the guys I look forward to seeing the most every year I come back to the Shrine Bowl. And Steve, I can't even pronounce your last name, but will you please stand up? What a great dude right there. Stand up. Come on, Steve. Give him a hand. Love him. 2 guys I have to talk about because of all my years of coaching. I've never seen anything like this happen, and I've never seen 2 more kids more heartbroken, but that handled it more professionally. Jacques Barksdale, who I've coached for the last 3.5, 4 years, took 1 step on just to play non-contact, standing there, and it went down with a ruptured Achilles. And on that same exact play, Jordan White pitches out to Bumgardner, and he makes a cut and tears his ACL, his MCL, and his meniscus, and cannot play in the game this week. So if you 2 guys, you don't have to stand up, Matt. Just stick your hand up. Jacques can stand up. You know, in the past we've had kids get injured and they never came back and they just went home. These guys didn't want to miss this experience for anything, you know, and I've seen Jaquez wearing a hat and taping his fingers, and he was so active with the kids in the hospital. Even though you don't get to play tomorrow, Jaquez, you get the meaning, and you'll carry that with you for the rest of your life. More important than the game, right? Right. Absolutely. Okay. That's enough of the thank yous, except for I have to thank all our players. I tell you, you know, all you parents have raised such good kids. You know, we get to coach, we coach every day, and we go back home and coach our kids, but it's such a special, special thing to come here. Our kids have been awesome this week. They understand what this game's about. We've asked them to do the right thing, and if anybody's going to make a mistake in this Shrine Bowl, it's going to be from the West, not our kids. And I don't know how the West is done, but I know our kids were perfect this week. I hope we play that way tomorrow. And just real quick, a little bit of my perspective of the Shrine Bowl. Being selected as the head coach for the East team, I can honestly say is the most rewarding and meaningful honor I've ever had in my coaching career. I mean, all the league wins and playoff appearances and championships and all that is great, but nothing compares when you're involved with such a wonderful, thoughtful, caring bunch of people that are involved in the Shrine Bowl. They work so hard together for such a great cause. This is my fourth time, and it very well could be my last time coaching the Shrine Bowl. But, you know, I've been really blessed. You know, I've got built so many tremendous relationships. Every time I've gotten to do 4 of them now, so I've probably met 40 coaches that I became lifelong friends with. It's like Bob Campbell sitting back there, who just retired from football. Give Bob Campbell a hand. I don't know how many times he did the Shrine Bowl, but his son is in this Shrine Bowl. Just you know, names just pop off the top of your head. And the guys I've met this year, Bueller and I, you know, Washburn Rural, Alexander is the most hated guy in Topeka. I guarantee you that. Just ask Penny Lane, she'll tell you. But Steve and I built a relationship this week, and we'll have a different relationship from here on out because we've really got to know each other as people, and that's why it's special. You know, getting to do the Shrine Bowl for four times now, I've got to coach 140 of the all-time state best athletes, you know, and got to get to know them and build a relationship with them, and I'll see them when it's just an amazing thing. I've even got to coach my own son in 2005 and my stepson last year in the Shrine Bowl. So if I never win a state title, I'm the luckiest coach ever. So Jack told me to keep this short and sweet, so I'm going to. I hope it is. I just want to say thank you. And I could go on and on about all the good things that the Shriners do and all the great things that they do, but words cannot express the brotherhood, the love, the caring and giving heart that those men possess. Thank you very much. I do have one more thing, and I wasn't going to forget, but I do want the East captains to come up here, and that's I want to introduce those kids for one, and I want them to help me present something. Sam Payne from Seaman, come on up. Cooper Beebe from Casey Piper, Elliot Strom from Sabetha, and Jack Roberts from Shawnee Mission South. These kids had no idea I was going to do this, but I want them up here. And then I'll tell you what we're going to do here in a minute. All right, since it might be my last Shrine Bowl, I want to take the opportunity to recognize somebody that's special to me and one of my best friends. This person is so passionate about the Shriners, and he's probably the reason I joined. He's a tremendous human being. Just a really, really good person. And I get choked up, so I'm just going to call his butt up here. He might get to call a play tomorrow if we feel unfortunate. Jack Call, come on up. The kids want to give you a little recognition. I've never met anybody that has more passion for the children and for the cause and for the Shriners. Just a great man, and if I never get to coach in the Shrine Bowl again, I knew if I did this, I'd get to see him tear up at least one more time.
In appreciation for all your love and loyalty to the kids and the Kansas Shrine Bowl, we would like to present this to you.
Hey, Walt, don't walk off too fast. Get your photo, but Richard Steele from the Board of Directors, the president, would like to present you with an autographed football. They're right behind you. Over there, bud. That's Jack time. Jack, you took a while to get up here. Is that Jack time? One more time for those East guys. Now it's time to hear from an East player's perspective. So please join me in welcoming East All-Star from Basehor Linwood, Jace Friesen.
Before I begin, I'd like to thank all the Shriners and the people that have dedicated their time and monies to this event to be able to play this game and put this on, so let's all just give them a round of applause. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Jace Friesen from Basehor Linwood, from Basehor Linwood High School in Basehor, Kansas. Obviously, I'm a member of the East team. I've been playing football since I was in kindergarten, and I immediately fell in love with the game. However, this past week has made me fall in love with the game even more than I knew that I ever could. Over the past week, I've made many new friends, and I've played football with some of the best players in Kansas. I've met patients from Shriners hospitals that have defied the odds. I've met many, many selfless people, and probably had a little too much fun playing video games in the dorms waiting in between practices. When I first walked into the dorms the first day of checking in, I had no idea that I'd meet so many new friends and people that I would be able to cherish for the rest of my life. It seemed like the very first day, within the very first two practices, the entire East squad, we were a very, very close-knit group of brothers. Of course, there's a lot of bonding that goes with that on the field, but there's a lot of that that also goes on off the field, like playing NHL hockey game on my Xbox in our dorm room, and it getting so intense that we found each other screaming at each other in the rooms. Or going to the extent of, after a late night practice, going out in front of all the dorms and playing wiffle ball until it gets dark. I've never been able to get so close to a group of guys so fast in my entire life. The bond that the East squad has is unreal. And none of this would be possible without the amazing coaching staff that we have that's gotten us all closer together and ready for this game tomorrow. Also, none of this would be possible without all the Shriners and helpers who have volunteered their time to be able to get us to even play this game. And along with that, all the Shriners who help prepare the food for us and work behind the scenes, we can't thank you all enough. I can honestly say I don't think there's a single evening that any of us East players went back to the dorms hungry, especially after we all got served steaks about the size of our football helmets one evening. But as you all know, this game, it's not about this game, it's about all the patients at the Shriners hospitals across America. Shriners hospitals are truly a blessing to families, and I was able to see this firsthand the other day when we got to have the patients visit. Many of the patients inspired me and struck my heart, like Eli here, wherever he is, here in the front, here he is, and many others. But another boy that really inspired me was a boy named Colton, and he's also 10 years old. Colton is also an amputee. He has a prosthetic leg, and he shared his story with us in one of the rooms that we got to go to the other day. He told us about how he's a wrestler and how much he enjoys wrestling and spending time in athletics. And while he was talking to us, he also shared a little story and a quote from an athlete that he looks up to that's also an amputee. And I would like to share that with you guys. So this particular athlete, one day when he was playing baseball at a young age, he was running the bases, and as he was running, his prosthetic leg actually fell off. And he was in the dirt, and his face in the dirt, and he thought, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? But as he was down in the dirt, he decided to change his mindset and thought, why not me? And take advantage of this situation. This particular athlete is now an Olympian. That quote just really, really stuck with me, and it's something that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. After Colton got done telling us this story, I kind of sat there and I thought, wow, this is a 10-year-old sharing this with a bunch of high schoolers in a room, and he's not nervous whatsoever. And as he got done sharing, he actually made sure to shake every single one of our hands as we were leaving the room. And I'll tell you, that's one of the strongest handshakes I've ever had in my entire life. This week has been one that I will never forget. I've made so many good memories so far, and I can't wait to make even more in this game on Saturday. I think I speak for everyone here when I say that we're all very, very blessed to be given this opportunity to play in this game. And we cannot thank the Shriners enough everywhere for everything they do, not only for the patients, but also for us and everything they've done for us this entire week. And they've done an amazing job of taking care of us and treating us. So with that being said, thank you so much to everyone here who's helped put this on, and go East.
Now we turn our attention to the West. They'll be the home team on the scoreboard tomorrow, and they're going to be led by West team head coach Tyson Bowerly. This will be Coach Bowerly's second Shrine Bowl, serving as an assistant last year. In 2 seasons, while at the head coach of the Swathers at Heston, Coach has a record of 14-8, finishing this season in the second round of the 3A playoffs. Coach Bowerly earned his undergraduate degree in secondary education from Tabor College, where he also earned a second team All-League and NAIA All-American Scholar Athlete recognition as a member of the baseball team. He was also recognized as a teacher of promise. Bowerly also earned his master's degree in curriculum instruction and assessment from Walden University. Tyson and his wife Melissa have 2 children, Maya and Maddox. We'll hear from Coach Bowerly right after we check out what happened on the West Camp.
Football is meant to be played in an excitable manner, am I right? Okay? Some of you guys are your energy guys for your team in the fall. You've probably been that for 2 or 3 years. We need that now, okay? I need some energy guys in the next 20 minutes when we go to team. Because if we practice soft and quiet, that's how you're going to play, and it's not going to end well on Saturday. You got me? Okay, I need energy guys here in the next 20 minutes. We got to get this thing going. Okay, now let's roll with that the rest of the week. Let's start building up to Saturday. Got it? Okay, let's get that going. You should have energy every single time you play football. It doesn't matter if it's backyard, Thanksgiving Day, and I'm beating the crap out of somebody. Okay? I'm beating the crap out of somebody. You should have that same mentality on an all-star game. Okay, whether it's first day of college and you're just trying to prove yourself for an all-star game, it doesn't matter. Come with the energy. Let's get a break, let's go. Let's start on 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Both these coaches want copies of that film. They're going to hit you up for more copies of that tape so they can study it before tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, the 46th head coach of the West team, Tyson Bowerly from Heston.
Well, good evening. It's an honor to be here representing Heston High School, representing the West Side as the head coach for this year's Shrine Bowl game. To echo the thoughts of others that have gone before me, thank you, Shriners, for everything that you do in preparation of this week, everything that you do in preparation for the kids that visit your hospitals. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to go through this, and it's an honor to lead our West squad again. I'd like to thank a few people to start as well. Per tradition, it sounds like if I don't thank my wife, I am buying something. So my wife is not here, but I'd like to thank my wife, Melissa, for not only being a coach's wife 365 days a year, but also giving me a week away from our chaotic summer schedules to be here and to lead 37 other guys through the experience of this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing her and our 2 kids tomorrow before the game. Others that need to be recognized are tremendous assistant coaching staff. I'd like for these guys to stand as I recognize them. Representing 6A from hometown Dodge City, Dave Foster. "5A from Mays, Gary Guzman. 4A from Goddard, Tommy Beeson. Representing 3A from Pratt, Jamie Cruz. Representing 2A from Riley County, Steve Wagner. And then representing 1A from Elkhart, Chris Hattabaugh. These guys have been tremendous this week. The kind of a selfish joy of this week is basically going through a coaching clinic every single day, and it's a tremendous opportunity to work with these guys. I'd also like to thank our camp athletic trainer, Taylor, and our camp manager, Jake. Where's Jake? They've been great this week, helping all the behind-the-scenes work that they've done. I'd also like to thank our camp directors, Steve Travis and Kerry Wilkin. Please stand and be recognized. Much credit goes to those 2 gentlemen for a great week of camp. So honestly, I didn't know what I was going to say until Wednesday in the hospital experience. Going through that was plenty to give me some words to share with the group. And 2 words in particular came to my mind as I was listening to those kids in those 6 different stations. Those words are influence and inspiration. In fact, Eli was my first station that I went through, and he was the one that gave me those words, influence and inspiration. To be honest with you, I think that video must have been from Wednesday, because I left practice not very happy on Wednesday. I was not pleased with how things were going, and I got in the truck and started driving to Dodge City and called my wife, and she could tell that I was already kind of upset. I'm not very good at separating football from home life. And once I got to the hospital experience, though, it was all about 2 minutes listening to Eli's story, and my shift went from me to others. And the influence that we have, I don't think we probably know, and I shared that with our players early in the week, that our actions become the experience of others. Our actions become the experience of others. And the influence that the Shriners had on our players, getting them in the right perspective for why they're here this week, was tremendous. And it's really neat to see our players go from the progression through the week of hearing about the game and why we're here, but then once they experience it, it's a completely new perspective. So the influence of those kids that were here on Wednesday, thank you for that. Thank you for the families that were willing to share that too. My second word was inspiration, which was already shared as well. That's pretty awesome. My own story as a kid was not all Care Bears and rainbows, but it's been an inspiration to hear the stories of the other kids and families this week, regardless of their abilities or regardless of their perspective. I heard a couple times this week, Shriner kids don't have bad days. I heard others talk about the same thing that Jace talked about with the question of why turning to why not. What an inspiration to hear those stories. Sometimes kids have a unique ability to get that out with sharing their experiences and sharing that inspiration. So again, I thank the Shriners, the kids, and all the people that were able to put that hospital experience event on. As for camp, We had a solid week in Salina. We did start things going in the right direction. Like I mentioned earlier, it's really neat to see the players' perspective change as we go through the week and go through the hospital experience. I think one of the things that's really neat, just like Jace mentioned earlier, is to see 36, 37 guys come from different backgrounds and come together so quickly, and this team has definitely done that. I really enjoyed getting to know the players, feeling their friendship grow, and enjoyed being part of something that's bigger than us, bigger than our team, even bigger than the game. We've had some great moments in camp, whether it's offensive lineman Seth Foley's mouth continuing to run, Caleb Grill arguing with everybody about the toss game, whether it's cornhole or bags. It's cornhole. Seth Foley still running his mouth. Larry Wilson putting on a show in a dunk contest, standing all of 5'8". And Seth Foley still running his mouth. Sorry, Seth. To wrap up, again, want to thank the Shriners for what you've done and for allowing us to participate in this experience. I want to thank our coaching staff for their relentless work ethic this week and putting our players in a successful position. In our individual player meetings that we held the very first afternoon in camp, I asked each player what their expectations were for the week, and it was interesting to hear what they had to say. I'm going to finish with giving them 4 expectations for tomorrow. The first expectation is to really see and understand and honor the kids that the Shriners Hospital serve in all the activities of tomorrow. It's a really, really cool day. The second is to expect Seth to still talk and everything else. The third expectation is for you as an individual to experience success from the work that you've had this week. And our fourth expectation is a victory for the West. Go West.
Coach, on behalf of the Kansas Shrine Bowl Board of Directors, our president, Richard Steele, would like to present you with this autographed football. Richard's happier to give it to the West Coach for some reason than he is to the East Coach. Thank you, Tyson. I do want to tell you, from the head coaching perspective, these two guys are tremendous. And I don't think anybody understands, and I know we've got the next head coach is in here because it's going to be one of the assistants, so I don't want to give away too much, but it's a lot of work to be the head coach. We lean on them a little bit to help set rosters, to make decisions, and these guys were Johnny on the spot. They were all ready to go and give of their time and energy. So, Coach, thank you. Coach Bowerly, thank you very much for all your work. It's time to hear from a West player's perspective, so please join me in welcoming an all-star from Cape and Mount Carmel, Scott Valentes. The goal is to be up here by the time the applause stops. Right?
Hi, my name is Scott Valentes, and I just graduated from Cape and Mount Carmel, where Eli will soon be attending school. Yeah. Shriners, patients, friends, family, athletes, we gather here today to celebrate the 46th anniversary of the Shrine Bowl. However, this game is not just any ordinary game. At first glance, it looks like a normal football game, people running around, hitting each other with the occasional trash talk. But it's much more than that. My teammates, our friends of the East, and I have been gifted with the opportunity to learn exactly what this game means. To understand what this game is about, you must first understand where the name comes from. The Shrine Bowl gets its name from the prestigious hospital known as Shriners Hospital. Shriners specializes in pediatrics and has led the nation in pediatric care since its founding in 1924. With 22 locations helping 1.5 million kids, the Shriners Hospital is constantly innovating and researching to provide state-of-the-art care to those who can and cannot afford it. Now, running a hospital is not a light expense, but with the support of Shrine Temples, the numerous hours of volunteer work, and supporting events such as the Shrine Bowl, Shriners is able to raise over $170 million a year. So now that we understand the name and the organization, we can start to understand how every donation helps. My teammates and I were able to hear numerous patients give personal testimonies over the Shrine hospitals. I'll be honest, I think everyone was a little hesitant at first. No one was really sure what to expect. We were divided into groups and dispersed. My first room was room A. Here we met patient Eli Peterson, a fellow Catholic schoolgoer and a Wichitan. Eli suffered from a hand deformity in which his fingers never fully formed. In room B, Kiana and Kerrigan showed us the effects of bullying through an activity in which we crumpled paper and had to attempt to remove the wrinkles. In room C, Colton and Cody, both with the same condition that caused part of their foot to be amputated, taught us about prosthetics. In room D, we learned how to be independent while conquering different obstacles. In room E, we heard stories of dog therapy and the possibility of robotic limbs. And finally, in room F, Riley, who suffered with a leg defect that forced her to have surgery on both legs, and Kylie, who suffered from a herniated disc that halted her pursuit in some of her favorite activities, taught us what it was like to be prepared for surgery by dressing up our nose guard in a gown that was 4 sizes too small and a hairnet that sat nicely on his hair. Now, those testimonies aren't supposed to make you feel bad. They are lessons that are seen in everyday life. Each faced obstacles, and each one of them woke up every morning, like we all do, and conquered what was in front of them. Mr. Peterson said to us in room A, "You can't teach heart." And these kids truly exemplified that statement. So how does this relate to the game? It's related because this isn't about football. This game is about sharing of one's talents in order to create a community in which no person ever has to go through anything alone. To close, I would like to take time to thank everyone who helped organize, host, and feed us all. I would also like to thank the patients in having courage to step forward and tell their stories. Without you, I would never fully understood that the only limitation a person has is the ones they set for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Every year, I've been to this banquet several years, the last 2 years, just completely blown away by the poise of our participants. So again, the people who got up here and spoke, our players, our participants from band, football, let's give them one more round of applause. We're on the home stretch now. Nearly everyone has been introduced, such is usually the case at Shrine functions, but I promised in the beginning I would introduce the most important people here tonight that time has arrived. The most important people in this room are the moms and dads who helped raise these wonderful parents, wonderful people, and supported them to become terrific people and ambassadors for us now and to get them here. So parents, thank you very much. Indeed. So much is said, often negative, about this younger generation, but if these guys have anything to say about it, they're going to be one of the best generations, so keep on working. We're also very fortunate tonight, fortunate enough to have with us representatives from Shriners International and Imperial SIRS, and to introduce our final speaker, which is tradition that our highest ranking officer will close the night, I want to bring up to introduce our speaker, Imperial Sir Brad Kane from Topeka. Imperial Sir Brad is from Topeka and is currently serving in his second year as the member of the board of directors for Shriners International, and he's a Shriners International for Children. Imperial Sir Kane.
Well, I don't know about you people in the back, but it's really hard to understand speakers when you're right next to them. So I'll do my best in talking. It is my pleasure, first off, my lady Cheryl. Okay. It is my pleasure to introduce tonight's keynote speaker, Imperial Sir Jeff Souther. Jeff is currently the Imperial Chief for Band of Shriners International. In layman's terms, he is the first Vice President. A month from now, Jeff will be elected as the #1 Shriner in the world. Over 200,000 Shriners exist right now, and he will be the head Shriner. The Imperial Potentate, and as such will be chairman of the board of directors of Shriners International and Shriners Hospitals for Children. Jeff has invested over 30 years in Shrine Mason leadership, from serving as master of his local lodge in Toronto, Kansas, that is, Grand Master of the state of Kansas, potentate of Midian Shriners in Wichita, and the last 10 years on the board of directors of Shriners International. Jeff will become the first Imperial Potentate from Kansas, and in 2 years we will celebrate our 150th anniversary. Jeff's involvement with Kansas Masons, the Kansas Masonic Foundation, and Shriners Hospitals for Children is unmatched by any other current Kansan, past or present. His commitment to and support of the Kansas Shrine Bowl goes well beyond just attending the game. The Kansas Shrine Bowl continues to be one of the most successful high school all-star football games within the Shrine Bowl network. As a side note, he has been committee chair of the Shriners Hospitals for Children National East-West Shrine Bowl game, which is the second oldest and longest continuing college postseason bowl game in the U.S., second to only the Rose Bowl. I have known Jeff for close to 20 years. If not for him, the opportunity to represent Kansas Shrine Masons as Imperial Treasurer would not have been possible. Jeff is a true leader in every sense of the word. Some of his qualities that come to mind: confidence. True leaders are confident and know they can think, act, and outside the box. Focus requires organization and planning while remaining open enough to make change. Honesty. Good leaders treat others as they expect to be treated, with integrity and respect. Positivity. Great leaders have a sense of positivity that energizes everyone around them. Decisiveness. Being able to make difficult decisions and handling them properly. Inspire. Great leaders inspire others to find their strengths and use them to their advantage. For those of you who know Imperial Sir Jeff, he embodies what leadership is. I witnessed firsthand his passion for Masonry and the Shrine. He is committed to the mission of Shrine Hospitals for Children, providing the highest quality of care to any child that needs our specialized medical care, regardless of the family's ability to pay. Jeff has also been a champion of membership for many years. So to the men in this room who are not Shriners or Masons, if you want to become one or if you want to know more about it, please see Jeff later or anybody with a fez. You know what? We've heard go east, go west, go kids. It gives me great pleasure to introduce my good friend Imperial Jeff Souter and his lady Cheryl.
Thank you. Please be seated. I told Brad that might be longer than my speech. I can tell you one thing, my wife didn't write that. Well, it's always a custom that, as Brad has pointed out for us Shriners, and as I pointed out to all the kids for the last couple of days, that when you're introduced, you get up to speak. If you don't introduce your lady, it used to cost us new dresses. In my house, we're way past that. It's now diamonds, and I can't afford any more of those, so would you please welcome my old lady, Cheryl. Before I start, I want to have another group reintroduced, and that's the guys in the green jackets out here. Can't begin to tell you how hard the members of the Shrine Bowl work to put this event on. It's not something that just happens this week. It's something they work and plan for all year long and work very hard at. So would all you guys on the Kansas Shrine Bowl board please stand? Let's give them another big round of applause. They do a tremendous job. Thank you guys. I want to say that I'm extremely honored to serve on the board of directors for Shriners International and Shriners Hospitals for Children, and I'm also honored to serve alongside those men and their ladies that are the officers of the temples across the state of Kansas. I'm from Kansas. I've known these individuals for a long time. I've watched them come up their line. I can tell you that each one of them are extremely dedicated and they take their job seriously, and they work extremely hard in everything that they do. For the next few minutes, I'm going to address my comments to those who are here tonight that are participating in this weekend's events, the players, the cheer squad members, and the band members. At this time in your life, you're faced with things that happen each and every day that require you to make the right decision. I can tell you that the decisions that you make over the next 3, 5, or 10 years will either positively or negatively affect what happens the rest of your life. These decisions will include, am I committed to doing the very best I can in my studies and getting good grades, or do I just try to get by? Do I apply myself each and every day to be the very best person that I can possibly be? And who do I choose for my friends? And are they really my friends? I recently was visiting with the father of a 14-year-old daughter, who had a 14-year-old daughter. Now, she could have been 12, she could have been 16, it really didn't matter. But he made a comment that really struck with me. He says, I told my daughter I won't choose her friends, but I will certainly weed out the ones that are not good for her to have around. Now, I'm sure that didn't set real good with the daughter, but for those of us that's had kids, it kind of resonated home. I can tell you that I've been a kid and barely survived that. I've had kids, I have kids, and they barely survived that. And today I'm around a lot of kids, Shriners Hospitals for Children. And I can probably tell you that in most cases, he'd be doing his daughter a favor. Cheryl and I have been blessed with 2 incredible daughters who have accomplished so much in their lives already as well. And they've given us the best 5 grandchildren anyone could ever want, but I will admit we're probably a little prejudiced about that part of it. But I can tell you that each and every day from the day they were about 8 or 10 years old, we've stressed upon them about making the right decision in everything that comes forward. Now, our 2 daughters were a lot alike, but yet they were different. They were both extremely good athletes, extremely good students, but one of them just was kind of with the middle of the road crowd and went along really good. And the other one, she was leading the crowd, and she was out there just a little bit more. And so with her, the challenge was probably just a little bit greater. So the story I'm going to tell you about her kind of stuck home with me. She goes off to college in her freshman year on spring break. My wife, I came home one day and our brand new Tahoe was gone out of the garage. I said to my wife, what happened to the Tahoe? She goes, well, I give it to Lindsay to go to Texas on spring break. I said, you did what? She says, yeah, her and 3 other girls at college decided they wanted to go to Texas for spring break, and her car wasn't big enough, so I gave her the Tahoe. I said, what in the world are you thinking about? He says, well, you got to trust them sometime. I said, but not with a $40,000 new Tahoe. Well, the Tahoe and the girls all came home in good shape. We live on a ranch in eastern Kansas. We're a long ways from anywhere. Jobs aren't very plentiful. And every summer, Lindsay would come home and paint cattle fence, pipe fence that make up the pens at our house. I'm going to tell you, it's a hot, boring, tiresome job that nobody wants. We try to get her other girls in the community to come help, and they last from 1 day to 1 week, and then miraculously they had something else they needed to do and never came back. One night I come home from work and Lindsay's out painting. Typical girl, sports bra, pair of shorts, that's about all she had on. When you paint fence, the way we do it, you take a gallon of paint, you take a rag that's about this long, a piece of towel, and you just poke it in there, and then you just slide it along the fence. She's got paint all over. I go up and talk to her, and I see she's got a belly button stuck. Now, this is 22 years ago, and that wasn't real common. And I said, Lindsay, what in the world is that? She says, well, Dad, it's like this. You always told me that anytime I come up against a decision that I can't make instantly, I need to sit back, count to 10, and think, do I really want to do that? She said, when we were all on spring break, we went out and partied one night, we all ended up at a tattoo parlor. The other 3 girls got a tattoo. And I got to thinking about that. Is that really the right thing? And I counted to 10, and I decided I'm going to get a belly button stud, because if I don't like that, I can take it out and the hole grows shut. And I said, you know what? I really like that. So I want each of you to stop and think about the people in your life that you look up to. Your parents, your grandparents, your favorite teacher, your coach. Each of those people who only got to where they are in life today by working extremely hard each and every day, and by making the right decisions along the way so that they can be a positive influence to everyone they came in contact with. I'm sure each of you young student athletes out here today have goals you've set for yourself. Maybe some goals are for this next school year, maybe some are for the next 2 to 4 years from now, maybe even a few of you envision where you'll be 10 years from now. As good as those plans and goals are, I can tell you that just one misstep along the way can derail all those plans. And my challenge to you is each and every time you have a decision to make, if it is not glaringly obvious to you what the correct answer is, take that step back, count to 10, and think carefully through the advantages and disadvantages of the decision you're about to make. We see the consequences of some of those bad decisions every time we visit sometimes one of our Shrine hospitals. Let's just say that some night you and a bunch of your friends have been out partying, and we've all been there, and no one is really able to drive home. Are you going to be the one that says, let's not drive home tonight, let's Uber? And then if everyone else even climbs into that car, you're going to be the one that doesn't climb in that car and calls an Uber to get you home. Or let's just say someone has mysteriously obtained all the answers to the big science test that's going to take place in 4 days, and they want to share them with you. Are you going to be the one that says, no thanks, I'll just study hard and do my very best on the test? I can tell you, if you will do that, spend the time to think before you act, you will find yourself in a much better place in life, be much happier in your life, and be successful in whatever you choose to do beyond your wildest imagination. Finally, I want to thank every student athlete, band member, cheer squad member, coach, Shrine Bowl board volunteer, and anyone who had anything to do with this game for being here. I'm sure you will all do your very best, but in the end, the final score on Saturday really won't matter, because we know the kids are the real winners. I'm a big believer that everyone should belong to something bigger than they are, making a difference by being involved with others. And I hope that by meeting the Shriners you've met this past week, and those very special Shrine kids like Eli and all the rest of them over here, that came to tell you about the care they get at our Shrine hospitals, you'll understand why us Shriners and our ladies volunteer to do what we do. I hope next time you see a Shriner, one of those guys wearing these funny little red hats, you will remember we are working for what we believe to be the world's greatest philanthropy, Shriners Hospitals for Children. A network of 22 hospitals that spends $2.7 million every day. That's over $30 a second, 365 days a year, to make a positive difference in the life of a child and their family. To date, we've helped over 1.5 million kids, all regardless of their ability to pay. I will close by saying that if you're interested in joining our cause, the requirements are fairly simple. We're a fraternal organization, so yeah, you must be a man, but ladies, I can also tell you we have similar organizations that support the Shrine that are for ladies only, and your husband can't belong to those. So we're a man's organization. You must be 18 years of age and believe in God. If you're one of those people that do that and want to help kids like Eli and all the rest of them, I invite you to talk to any person that you see wearing a red fez for additional information. My challenge to you is to be not just a man, be more. Be a Shrine Mason. It will change your life for the better forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Imperial Sir Brad, can you join us, please? On behalf of Kansas Shrine Bowl, I want to present both of you guys with an autographed football from both Ethan West's squad. And I also would like to present Imperial Sir Jeff Souter for his unwavering support, a jersey with his name and everything on it.
Thank you so much. This is going to Tampa. I get an office and headquarters for 1 year. This is the first piece going in. Thanks a lot.
In a month, Imperial Sir will be Imperial Potentate, and when we got a chance to go to Tampa to see Shriners International, he's have a nice big old office he's going to have to decorate, and so we're hoping that that'll help get some of that office decorated. He says he won't spend much time in there, but that'll still look good on the wall. Thank you guys very much. Thank you to all the speakers. Everybody from my table's gone, which means the apparel booth is back open, and they're in position for that. So if you didn't get what you needed on the way in, you can get what you need on the way out. Again, all those proceeds are going to go to our total, which will be calculated up and be sent to Shriners Hospitals for Children. A few things to remember. The parade tomorrow is at 10 a.m. in downtown Dodge City. It will actually begin at Memorial Stadium on 2nd Street and continue from Memorial Stadium at 2nd and Comanche all the way down 2nd Street to Gunsmoke, which is right almost to the Wyatt Earp Boulevard that runs through town. So Shriners, you'll also be doing all your aligning at Memorial Stadium there in the south parking lot. If you brought a entry into the parade on a trailer, we want you to park your trailers on the North Street, Morgan Street, and then unload your entry and get it into the staging area there just south of Memorial Stadium. Parking will begin parking your cars at 3 p.m. They'll be closed until then. Gates will open at 5. Pre-game festivities will begin around 6 with the band performances. And then we will, what else do we got tomorrow night? Oh, football game, that's right. 7:05 football game. Thanks again to the United Wireless Arena, and what a fantastic facility this was. Again, I've been to a lot of these, and this is one of the great venues and really, really well done. We've still got some folks working in here, so thank you all very much for all your work. Band kids, cheerleaders, football players, follow the instructions of your advisors and coaches to get on the bus. Don't disappear. You're still in our custody for one more night. And other than that, have a great day tomorrow for the kids. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.